hop right into this because, like I said, I'm gonna go super fast. We're gonna be stay in fifth gear, try to get us done right on time, and uh, but yeah, I appreciate. We took kids to Mexico 3 years in a row to sort of build a house there and all, and I remember the funnest parts of those trips, the driving with some of like myself and some other goofy youth pastors. There's stuff that we used to joke about, like what what is said in this van stays in this van, things like that. Um, some pretty goofy things. I will tell you one at the risk of getting fired. One of them was, and Elizabeth, I'm sure you can appreciate this. The whole time we were there, we were working on a church, and we were all using the same bathroom. Okay, and their plumbing wasn't so good, so they said if you had to use toilet paper to not flush that. So everybody was putting their toilet paper in the garbage can right next to the toilet. I know you're starting to all get nervous about where I'm going with this. And so if you knew that your buddy was waiting to go after you, it was kind of fun to do certain things with your TP for him to experience when he came in behind you. And so during the week with the kids, we were starting to have to say, excuse my French, poop side down, please. When you went into the bathroom. Well, on the way home on the van, we started doing poems like roses are red, violets are brown, when going potty in Mexico, poop side down, things like that. And so you can imagine when you have the winkies, as you get, when you're like Elizabeth said, when you're tired and you're on your way home, those poems and stuff just turned into outlandish, like, okay, guys, we should probably talk about something else. Anyway, it pretty funny. We're going to continue in our Matthew series this morning in a little bit of a different way. I'm excited about what I have to tell you. Today we're in Matthew 8. We're going to finish Matthew 8, so at least we're getting done a chapter in this procedure that we're going through. My sermon's called "Getting the Perfect Perfect," and you'll understand what I mean by that in a little bit. Last time we talked. This was before Easter. We talked about the storm. Remember, in the boat, and I tried to sell you guys, or at least kind of make a case for the fact that I believe that Jesus, being a rabbi and a teacher, was always very intentional about the situations he got his boys in, the disciples. Like, I think he on purpose. We all agreed he was God. He knew about the storm. He made the storm, and he got these guys out on a boat knowing that was going to happen that night. Now, I went so far as to say, and maybe this is a little bit heretical, I don't know. Part of me thinks that Jesus was also pretending to be asleep on the boat for the lesson. There's a part of me that thinks he had one eye open, so to speak, because it's really hard as a man to sleep in a storm. And he used the illustration, obviously, when we said who was the other guy that ever slept during a storm, was Jonah. And when Jonah finally got thrown out of the boat, the waters were calmed, and the men on the boat were like, they were worshiping Yahweh God. And there was an idea that Jesus calmed the storm. And in fact, these guys from that story would have remembered, wow, God was in fact in our boat. And so whenever you hear people, there are lots of stuff out there right now that talk about, well, Jesus never really actually claimed to be God. He never, which is wrong. But more than not, Jesus showed himself to be God.